days that I consume fish, more days that I consume plant-based uh, plant-based proteins and meals, and it's a good way to kind of challenge yourself. So my goal is going to be. We are going to be doing a. We're going to be prepping tuna salad. Canned tuna salad, which I know sounds kind of dull. There's a lot of really good stuff you can do to doctor it up, make tuna melts, and just like what you put into it can really matter. So we'll do that. We're going to do some salmon teriyaki. That's going to be the main dinner. And I'm also going to prep some black beans in the Instapot. I'm out of black beans right now. And I try to keep some around pretty consistently because they're just a cheap, easy protein. And we'll probably do the black beans vegetarian, maybe even vegan. I don't know. Just I will see what I have available. Instead of using beef stock or chicken stock, I'll use some vegetable-based stock. End of the days of beer. Kind of recognize it? Yeah, so we'll be using that. And hey, here's that beer, Jesus, Lord and Savior. All right, so let's get the Instapot moved over. I'm trying to find the right way to show the Instapot without it killing. Because it is like the thing is upside down, so it is a little odd. That should work. So let's get started. Let's bring out one of the most important things we have: the giant honkin' cutting board. That's like this is all things. This is a huge cutting board. I absolutely love it. So we're gonna start with the beans in here. We're gonna do 1 pound of beans. I've got my own recipe. It's all up here, but it's pretty much just the benefit of using dried beans. You get a lot more flavor out of it. It's a lot more filling in and of itself, and then you can reuse that liquid and puree it. You can turn it into dips. You can turn it into chili. You can turn it as a base of a million things, or just a good side on its own. But the most important thing to start with is onions. This is one of those meals that you can go pretty darn heavy on the onions. Because a pound of beans is a lot of beans, don't get me wrong. But we're going to be doing this nice and low and slow, and they're going to bake down to nothing. Just an easy way to get a lot of vegetable mass in, a lot of savory flavor. And again, it just helps bulk it up overall. So also, fun day today. Actually went into the office. Actually had lunch with a coworker. He and I sat on opposite ends of a room, and just kind of chatted. It was nice to actually, eat with a coworker, catch up with them, see how they were doing, see how their family was doing. So we'll clean these up right afterwards. I just want to kind of bang out the base prep of these onions. And if anyone wants to share anything that they've done this week, anything that they've been working on, please feel free. Or, a meal they're planning on, a meal that they have the idea of. Gamer, I know that you redeemed channel points for the lamb chops. Again, I think those are going to be next Tuesday's dinner. Lamb chops next Tuesday. I've got an idea or two of some recipes. I'm trying to figure out how high-tech or low-tech do I want this to go. But your lamb chops will be next week. As long as the store has it, maybe I should qualify. As long as the store has lamb chops, I will be doing lamb chops next week for you. as you've heard before, we peel off that outer layer, kind of just not needed. It can be a little tough, and yeah, I'm wasting some, but I'll save it for stock or something. And as said, like, I buy onions by the 10-pound bag. I'm not exactly concerned about the cost, because it's 50 cents a pound or less. Hype. That's going to be a delicious, delicious lamb. Okay. Onions, let's get a little oil in here. There's the squeeze tube. It looks like a lot of oil. It's a reasonable amount. There's going to be a lot of vegetables going in here, so we shouldn't be afraid. We really need the oil to cook it evenly. It's a pretty lean meal also, so the additional fat is welcome and needed. I'm going to get a bowl to store all this in. I'll just use the Dutch oven. Might as well. Already out, and I don't need it for anything else. We want this a reasonably thin dice. If you leave the onion pieces too big, it can be pretty distracting. And they do cook down nice and easy, so we don't need to, again, do too much. But don't be afraid to give it an extra little choppy chop. Oof. Very oniony onions. Wow. Hey, who just hopped in? Mittens! Thank you, Mittens. I love you. The lovely Mittens, everybody. Ah, onions. And the reason I'm doing this kind of like I'm chopping it twice before like going along the side is this helps to make sure we've got nice even pieces. It also helps to chop it a little quicker, I've found, rather than trying to mince over it 2 or 3 times. By getting it to this point, I know it's going to be starting at a very even layer to everything else. So even if I don't then do a secondary, camera down. What's with me and cameras falling everywhere? That just doesn't want to stick, does it? Finishing work for the day, making sure I'm getting dinner tonight. I have done plenty of stupid things there, Jesus. It should be I don't do any more stupid things. Ah! These are really pungent. Jeez, man. Come on. The camera's getting taped into place. All right, I see what didn't bind properly. long as that wire's not in the way. It is totally going to be in the way. I'm just taping the mount into place. I thought I had more command strips than I did because one had fallen beforehand, so I was like cleaning the surface up and not enough. Okay, that's out of the way. Is that the angle that I want? Too close in. Okay. uh, so I was moving out. It was my second year of university. I was getting ready to move out, and I had bought a mini fridge from a good friend of Mitten's. And I took a look at it, and there was a pretty good amount of frost built up around it. It was a small unit. It wasn't very high powered, but it worked well as a drink fridge. It was just to keep a couple drinks at a time. And so I thought to myself, well, I gotta. And I was like the last thing I'd forgotten to defrost it, so I was in a hurry. And I thought, well, like I gotta get this defrosted quickly, and fire is hot. Fire can defrost it quickly. So how about this? I'll put a bunch of paper towels inside the mini fridge, and then I'll use a can of Lysol that I have in a lighter and just melt the inside, melt the water. It'll keep the plastic from melting, hopefully because of all the ice, and the paper towels will like sop it up. Well, it worked great, except for the fact that paper towels are flammable. And evidently the Lysol burned way hotter than I expected because it caught all the paper towels inside of the mini fridge on fire. So it's just this gout of flame erupts out of it. So I slammed the door closed as quickly as I can, wait a little while, pop it open, and we're good. So mini fridge was on fire while being defrosted. And in my defense, there was no ice left. It was defrosted. Just saying. Technically, I did it. Technically. Lord and Savior. Sacred is fine. Demon is fine. You'll hear them referring to me as Fox, so that's fine also. It's all good. Alright, so we're going to get the... we're going to put on a low saute. I am going to add in a little celery. And I'm going to add in a little bit of pepper. Both should be nice little flavor additions to this. Without going too far off the rails. The celery I'm going to add now, the pepper I'm going to add later. Probably only one rib. We don't want this to go too far. Again, traditionally, a Mexican sofrito is... I don't remember if a sofrito is pepper. It's onion is the base, and then it's celery and... I don't remember if it's celery and pepper or carrot and pepper. So mirepoix, French mirepoix, is onion, celery, carrot. And you can swap out the pepper for one of them. I don't remember if it's celery or carrot. It might be carrot. For a sofrito. Just one of those holy trinities of pepper combinations. I'm not going to go too hard. But again, I'm going to finely dice this, add it in for the flavor it provides. But again, I'm trying to avoid the texture. I don't want there to be crazy amounts of non-bean things in the beans other than the onions. I did not vaporize a few. I vaporized one Corel dish. And once again, in my defense, the dish was clean when I was done with it. Just saying. I don't know what you have in Amsterdam. Not Amsterdam, but we've got in the Netherlands there, Jesus. But Corel is a brand name dish in the US that is like supposedly indestructible. And I proved that wrong. Just only one. Two. One that I remember really well. So, what happened is I had been grilling something outside on our porch, and I had put there was some meat on it, so I washed it off, and was outside trying to fling it to get all the water off because I was going to be putting the cooked meat on there, and it was wet and slippery, and my hand slipped, and I ended up discus tossing it straight into the neighbor's brick wall of their house, and it absolutely exploded. Like, I mean, there was nothing, probably a couple shards, but it was amazing how much of it, like, vaporized was the right word. It just exploded into dust. But the dust was dry. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Tupperware. No, not Tupperware again. Like actual like glass dishes, like a glass ceramic composite dish. But the dust was dry. So here's where I'm going to go a little finer on this chop on this mince. Okay, I want the flavor of the celery. I don't really want much of the texture to come through. Sofrito, onions, celery, and green bell pepper. Perfect. Closest I can do is the yellow, but I am... Okay, awesome. Thank you, Mittens. I do appreciate that. All right, so I am doing the right combo. Admitting the carrot is the right decision. I can neither confirm nor deny those allegations that I broke. I've broken a lot. that I will admit to. Oh no, we don't have that here. Like brand type only. China blue, this blue. Those old plates with the blue paint. Okay. Yeah, so it's an old thing, but again, it's a ceramic. Actually, I've got an example. It's not a dish, but it's a bowl. This is Corel. And actually, just recently, we don't know how, but one of these just recently got broke. The other one of these that you have. But Corel, so it's specifically microwave and oven safe stoneware. Again, they call it. So you can put it in the microwave, put it in the oven. They say don't put it on the stove top, don't put it on the broiler. Yeah, don't know what happened. It's still sad because I think those two prep bowls are fantastic for a variety of things. All right, let's get our Dutch oven cleaned out and get a smaller bowl for our pepper. Get our pepper wash. Let's get the bowl. Probably after we get this pepper chopped up, we are going to start our brining our salmon. salmon's not a fish that requires a brine, but it does benefit from one. Especially if you want to broil it at a high temperature, really get that crispy skin. Um, so if you have the time, a 30-minute brine for salmon is a pretty good call. So again, the pepper we're going to add on the back end. So we'll have enough time to brine our salmon, confirm it's all hunky-dory, and then return here. So we'll add our flavorings, then the beans, water, and we'll go from there. Yeah, no, it's a pretty reasonable brand. Jesus. What time is it over there? Is it like 10, 10:30? Was it it's 22:30? Twenty-two thirty-seven. Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes it even more impressive that you tend to hang around as long as you do, Jesus. I do appreciate it. And hopefully, again, the new work is going well for you. A nice mince on this. Same thing. We want the flavor. We don't want a huge amount of the texture to come through. And there's Mittens coming on down. Except for it has a fight with the wall. Yeah, it's sleep is for the weak. Glad to use digital time. It's Mittens is a nurse. So I have to make sure that I know both that time as well as, standard time.
Why? Because I write it everywhere?
Yes. Full-time first week and your body is dying. Sounds... Welcome to the working professional world. Everything hurts and I'm dying. Mittens, do we have any red onion left?
Yes, half of one.
Perfect.
In here, right in front of me, middle. Middle shelf, middle of the shelf.
Perfect, thank you. So, the red onion we're going to use for part of this. So again, I said the other thing we're going to make today is a tuna salad, which again can be kind of pedestrian. It's in America at least. Canned tuna salad is almost like a lunchtime staple. You're talking about
It's a diner staple.
Well, yeah, tuna melts. Tuna melts are a diner staple. But it's usually canned tuna fish, held together with mayonnaise. Lots of mayonnaise. Maybe with some other vegetables thrown in just for a little variety. But so what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be doing that same, diner favorite tuna salad. But we're going to be adding a couple things to kind of give it a little more zhuzh. We're going to be putting in, so these red onions I'm going to slice thin, and then I'm going to do a quick pickle with apple cider vinegar. In addition, we're going to be putting in celery for crunch and texture, probably some shredded carrot for some sweetness, a little bit of Dijon mustard, and some fish sauce for more umami depth. And that's going to pair very well with the fishy, flavor of the tuna to begin with. And then the other benefit of all that is because we're throwing in a lot of additional flavor components, we don't need to just rely on heavy mayonnaise. So we can, and especially the mayo, Dijon mustard is an emulsifier itself. So by putting a little bit of the mustard in there, helps to kind of keep everything emulsified, especially any additional liquid it gets brought in. So we're going to chop this fine because no one wants to bite into a big honking piece of onion. The other benefit of pickling the red onion is it's going to temper it. It's going to reduce the raw, pungent red onion flavor to something that's much more mild, much more palatable. I believe the acid deactivates some of the compounds that cause that fiery onion. So they'll also provide some acid to the dish, which will help balance out the amount of fat we're bringing in from the mayonnaise.
Raw red onion does have its place.
Yes, it does. Raw red onion definitely has its place. Great in salads. It's great in like pico de gallos.
It's great on liverwurst and bologna sandwiches.
It's great on liverwurst and bologna sandwiches. But this is just going to be a way to temper it a bit, add acid to the dish. You're too young for that. Once you enter the working world, you're not too old. You're in it. You are in the thick of it. And I think I used up my jar of apple cider vinegar. So the cheap stuff. So I'm going to use a combination of raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar with an active culture that I use for hot sauces. And I'm going to use some rice wine vinegar, which is going to be a little more gentle. I am not using white distilled vinegar because that can be very aversive. There's not a whole lot of flavor to it. Like, you are using this to flavor the dish. It's not just the acid that promotes the flavor of the apple cider or the white vinegar, or the rice wine vinegar in this case. So we've got that there. Then we chopped it up. We're just gonna set it aside. That's it. I'm not gonna salt it. I'm gonna salt it a little bit. A little salt does help the pickling process. Little salt, little sugar. But I don't need much because any of that we need will add to the finished dish because this pretty much only has one purpose. Pickling is one of the times that I do use white sugar. Almost every other time I'll use brown sugar. That's looking nice. It's breaking down. Yes?
What are you making tonight?
Salmon teriyaki. I'll probably add a little bit of miso to the glaze too. So a little.
Dude, we're doing fish 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
Not upset.
Had fish tacos. Mittens made fish tacos for dinner last night. Used cod. Start my own country, a place, no work, just growing your own food, few animals, every so often selling something and live life on easy mode. So Valheim is what you're talking about. Which I've been enjoying very much the past couple days. Where are you gonna get the money to start that? Jesus, you get it off the ground. You know, send me an invite. I'll roll on over. I'll be the brewer. You gotta have a brewer. Last week had that Gardner Datto in. Like he said he had like 3,000 square feet of space. So that'll be awesome. Okay, let's start prepping our rind. Again, using filtered water because it is going to go against the raw fish. So we got about a liter of water right here. quart.
Go leave cola.
Liter of cola. Do we have liter cola? Definitely will right now. A few months working, getting knowledgeable. Just gotta be careful not to become a cult. Yeah. All right, so again, about a liter. I'm gonna do maybe a half liter water in to start off, and we're gonna add in. We do want this salty. We want salty like the sea is usually the way to phrase it, or the level that you want.
Or, if you're me, salty like the tears of children.
Salty like the tears of children, which is an unbelievably creepy.
You married me.
I did. You say really creepy things, I break unbreakable dishes.
It worked out beautifully.
Somehow. That should be good.
Hey, honey.
Yes, dear?
Don't look now. What did I just,
I don't know, because I can't see. Hydrate?
Nope.
Are you requesting a dish? More onions! I'll get more onions. Got 2, jeez. Do you really think we need...
You sent me to the market without instructions. I panicked.
I don't think we need 3 pounds of salmon for 2 of us.
3 of us.
Alright, looks like we'll be doing tuna. It's a salmon salad as well.
I panicked.
You could look at how much it weighs.
I don't know how much it shrinks. And I don't know how much each person eats.
When we're hungry, you and I have a half pound each, and the little one will have a quarter pound.
Sometimes a half pound.
Sometimes a half pound. That's one of these fillets. That's the bigger of the 2 fillets. What I'm doing right now is I'm running my fingers along the sides to see if there's any pin bones still in there. You can see that I removed 3 of them that I was able to feel and pull out gently. I'm just going to cook one of them today, dear. We'll cook the other one like tomorrow for lunch or something.
Sounds good.
There's just not going to be enough.
No, I get it.
All right.
That's fine.
We have so much salmon.
Are you complaining?
No, because I love salmon. I'm not. It's more than we needed.
We made a decision.
1 pound each. Just about. We've got a pound of salmon per person.
And I hear nobody complaining except for you.
Yes, dear. I mean, salmon is delicious. Let's face it. That's the truth. All right. Mittens also called for more onions, so
I'm a jerk.
I love you.
I'm gonna go get Spawn.
Okay. Are you gonna walk or drive?
Drive. It's freezing out there.
Okay. All right.
And not wear flip flops.
I will add a shallot to the tuna salad.
Okay.
That'll be a way to bulk up that amount. All right. So that's going right there. This is continuing to saute. We'll probably give this another maybe 20 minutes. Again, when I say that we do a nice, low, slow saute, I'm not kidding, because it really does help with the flavor. So I'm actually going to start prepping the tuna salad. I'm going to do a bit of a interesting way of doing it, and you'll see what I mean. So, America's Test Kitchen did a whole thing on tuna salad, and like tasting and testing different ways to make it. And a big theme over and over and over was for people was that it was even if they drained it a little bit, it was still like sopping, it was still dry despite there being lots of moisture. Again, this is processed, not highly processed, but it's still like cooked and processed tuna. And what they found was when you didn't let the tuna drain, the tuna water got in the way of the tuna water got in the way of the mayonnaise and other flavorings being incorporated into the dish. So the trick was to break it up and let it drain well before adding the mayo. That let you add less mayo overall because it wasn't fighting to displace the water and there was no soppy mess at the bottom. So the first thing we'll do, and we got our super crazy canner, is we'll just drop the whole ones right in there, and I'll be giving this to the cat afterwards, the tuna water. She loves tuna water. She's a tuna slut. We are going to break it up with our hands into tiny pieces. We're not going to get it shredded. And this is whole chunk albacore. Again, it's a little more sustainable. I do pay extra for hook and line caught tuna because I think it's more sustainable. And there's less bycatch, less byproduct getting caught up. It's one of those things where if you're only paying, $3 a can, I'm okay with paying that for a higher quality, more natural product, in my opinion. And I will fully admit I've also got the ability to pay the extra, double the triple the price for higher quality food. Not everyone has that luxury. I don't get what measurement system do you use because I hear everything. So I, being a dumb American, my standard, what I learned growing up was the American system. I think it's technically the imperial system, is it? Of pounds, feet, inches. That said, I have a background in biology. I've got a master's degree in marine biology, and so I've learned standard because I had to, because that's what science goes by. In addition, when I cook, I tend to measure by grams just because I find it more accurate and I find the conversion more convenient than ounces to pounds. That stinks. So I've got a pretty easy time jumping between them. The only thing that I have a hard time with is temperature. Just because I didn't have to deal with it. Or if I had to talk about temperature, it was always abstract, not necessarily current temp. So like conversions of weights and lengths, I can do very easily in either one. Temperature is just a little more abstract for me. I don't have the same reference for temp. All right, so we got that into some nice pieces. We're just going to let this drain for like 20 minutes or so. So I'm going to wash my hands. But yeah, I know it can be confusing. Yeah, I have no problem kind of bouncing between them. The other kind of kicker is hey, hooked up. Hey, Gardner. We were just saying that we want to just hop off, found a get a little farm, make a collective, work life on easy mode because gardening is super easy, right? Yeah, but so in addition to having that science background, I also brew. So I do volumes there in gallons, but I tend to do weights in grams. Again, more precise, and I've just got the better idea of what that means. You should get a dishwashing camera. Conversions as from Fahrenheit to Celsius. Of course, no back pain at all. Fahrenheit to Celsius and then Celsius back into Fahrenheit. Like I know the relatives, but I need to jump back and forth. I can't just only recently do I know okay, 30 degrees Celsius is a little warm for room temperature, but it's doable. Like it took me a while to get that. Because if I was ever dealing with temperature in Celsius, it was at the 300 to 400 degrees and higher. To me, the difference between 20 Celsius and 30 Celsius is tense, not a big deal. Not realizing, it's more of 20 degrees Fahrenheit with when you're talking room temperature, that's a big swing. I've thought about it, there, Gardner, getting a dish camera because I'm there half the time, but that's gonna be the most boring camera ever. I would also need a really long USB extender to get all the way over there. And it would be blank most of the time. I really don't want to spend this stream doing dishes. Frankly, I think the 3-camera setup has been working perfectly. When I had the face cam on the computer here, it did cause performance issues for the stream. So I'm okay with just doing the 3 and going from there. Lift from the knees. No, don't lift the knees. Lift with your back in a jerking, twisting motion. Right here, that's the right way to do it. All right, we're starting to get a little more color, and I can hear the sizzle is starting to change. Not, I don't know the term for it, but it's a different pitch. So the onions going in now are going to slow down that process. And we're just going to kind of prepare and let that go. Now we're going to get our spices together for this, and I'm happy. I'm always excited for this part. We'll be doing 1 packet of Sazon Goya. We'll be doing some paprika. We'll be doing some cumin. We'll be doing some oregano. We'll be doing some coriander. Probably a chipotle pepper. So I'll grab that in a second. Yeah, I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go grab the beans, actually. ASMR dishwashing stream. Yeah, Mittens, the wife kind of gets some, not total, but some overrule rights to this because, again, I have to spend 15 minutes at the beginning of the stream setting up this whole crazy system that I'm doing right now in our kitchen. Today, on a very special Sacred Demon Cooks, we're going to be washing dishes. Bleh. Okay. Ooh, you know what I realized? We should have enough. I'm a little low on mayonnaise, but I'm not super low, so we should be able to bang this out. I'm going to now grab our black beans. And I'm thinking tonight's dinner, salmon teriyaki. I'll do brown rice. I'll do brown rice for dinner. You need to fill up one of these containers with and the beans are downstairs, so I've got a container right here of grits. I've got my tea, my green tea. I'll be filling up one of these containers with grits. I'm thinking about doing shrimp and grits next week or something. That might be Friday night's stream, shrimp and grits. There's a little rice left in there, isn't there? So these are really cool. These containers, they plug right into our food saver and actually drain the air right out. So it forms a vacuum seal. So it's super easy to keep stuff stable and in good, good condition for long term. But again, I'm all about trying to maximize that, buy in bulk and utilize what you have. So we'll leave this rice out. Let me go get the beans. we've got a 4-pound bag of beans right here. Beans are definitely one of those things where if you can buy in bulk, it's a great idea to. This ended up being like less than 50 cents a pound, I want to say, for for a good amount of beans I split with a buddy. They last forever. They're shelf stable. It's a great option if you can, and if you've got the space. I fully acknowledge space can be a limiting factor. So we want about a pound of beans. And why pay $2 a pound for beans at the supermarket when you can pay 50 cents a pound and have stuff be shelf stable, for years in some cases? So what we're going to do is we're going to measure out 3 pounds into here, and everything that's left over is being saved. Okay, so it's in grams to start off with. So that's for you, Jesus. Start off in grams. Okay, this is just one of those times where, again, because I can buy the beans in 1 pound or 3 pound bags, in this case 4, I know that I need 1 pound of beans to go into that. So, we're talking like 450 grams. Okay. 3 pounds of beans on the dot. We'll vacuum seal this and put it away, and then use what we have. Hey, butt naked. Buck, I didn't catch what it was, but I saw that you were chatting up a storm in Discord. You were blowing it up. I was getting pings while I was playing Valheim last night. I wanted to step in, but we were being attacked. Hope you're doing well today. All right, so we got our beans. I got to get some water. We'll get this to a boil. And then we'll start prepping our tuna salad. Or we could just start, because it's let's get the oven preheated for our salmon. We're going to roast this at 450. Yes, this is an aggressive temperature to cook it at. It's also going to really help caramelize the surface and get that really nice flaky fish crust. So let's again, I want to do miso. I like the idea of a miso glazed salmon. I haven't really done one like that before. I have, but it's been quick. So I'm going to take a look at just really miso glazed salmon. So I'm thinking just for miso glazed salmon, I'm thinking just whip together some oil, some white miso, and maybe some honey. Maybe, could also do maple syrup. Maple syrup might work a little bit better, but like just whip those 3 together, brush it on top, and walk away. And then I've got a teriyaki glaze in the fridge. I'll do separately as another, like, as a soy counteract. Wait, what, Buck? Wasn't the Crafters Guild popping off on Discord last night? Or was that 2 nights ago? I feel like in the Crafters Guild, I saw your name popping up a whole bunch with the Discord alerts. I've been playing Valheim at night, like every night. They kind of run together. How about this? I saw your name pop up a bunch of times on Discord, and I was like, ooh, I wonder what's going on, and just didn't hop on. Yeah, okay, yeah. I saw, again, I was playing Valheim. I saw your name popping up a bunch, and I was like, ooh, wonder what's going on. Okay, so this recipe calls for miso, sake. I've got some similar cooking wine that I can use. sugar, soy sauce, and salmon fillets. Instead of sugar, I'd rather use honey. But yeah, I can see utilizing some sake to bake off instead of an oil, and a little soy sauce to kind of bring it together. I like that idea. What do you guys think? Like a miso, sake, sugar. We'll use honey, and soy sauce as a glaze for this salmon. You pay to see me cook with Jamie Oliver and Gordon Ramsay together. I mean, they are beasts in the kitchen. I know they've got their their personas. Gordon Ramsay in particular, like is that a persona? But they are still incredibly talented, well cooked. I'd love to be able to spend time in a kitchen with any chef of their caliber. I think it would be an absolute blast. I'll probably be really into line cook, but I've thought about it before. Again, there was a short period I was looking into going into cooking professionally, until in the end I decided didn't fit my lifestyle or what I wanted to do long term. Not sure it was me unless they were chatting about me. You have to look. I was on the open shop permit. Maybe it was just that. Maybe it's just I happened to look over at Discord, Buck Naked, and I saw your name pop up. You were saying something. I was like, oh, I wonder what Buck's talking about, and then got killed by a troll. Lord and Savior, yes, honey will give it a different taste. However, honey also has a lot of very simple sugars that caramelize very easily and very readily. And that sweetness and the sweetness it provides and the caramelization it does, we want. That will be a benefit to this. Have a TV personality. Oh God, what have I become? I am merely someone who is passionate about cooking, and probably just about as passionate as teaching other people what I'm doing. I really, really like that. I've had people say I should be a teacher, which I wouldn't mind, but I also know that Buck will appreciate this. Dumb users annoy me, but I can deal with them. Ignorant users, willfully ignorant people, smack the crap out of them. It is not a mark of pride to say, oh, I don't know computers very much. No, it's 2021, been part of our society for over 40 years at this point. Know how to open a damn PDF. Just honest fun. Hey, that's good. How about this? I've thought about it. I thought about tossing it. There's a couple like the amateur cooks or something like that, and that has crossed my mind. I do think doing one of those would be a very interesting experience, to be honest. Something like that I wouldn't mind. Okay, we need some sake. I don't have any sake, but I have a sweet cooking wine. It's also why I only did about a teaspoon of honey, maybe a little bit less. It's a mirin is what it's called. All right. We got our mirin. Also, Buck, I think I realized why I've been missing you the past 2 weeks is I've been playing Valheim during my lunch breaks. And my lunch breaks are usually 12:30 to 1:30 or 2. And then I usually have to hop straight onto a meeting. I know that one day you started late, but I think that's one of the other reasons I've been missing you a couple times is because I've just been playing Valheim. Maybe someday a Twitch digital cook of something with different creators at the same time. Ooh, like a multi-stream? That could be cool. So, I do know that New Meta Design, who is a streamer and a buddy of mine, he and I did a multi-stream where he was painting minis, like miniature figures, and I was just cooking. And it was a little disconcerting to be talking about two completely different things, but it was fun. It was a nice little something something. And 2 tablespoons of miso. No, I would, again, I love cooking. And you're right, I do think a streaming type thing like this would be very interesting and could probably go multiple people well, because you could all cook a whole bunch and then see what everyone's result is. But you would need to dedicate like a 2-hour time to just bang it all out together. All right, so we got our honey, we've got our mirin, we've got our miso. I probably went heavy on the miso, but miso's tasty, I don't care. Should have done like a taller, narrow container. That would have allowed me to be a lot more vigorous with this, as opposed to kind of like, meh, stir. So again, I think we want this almost like a paste level. That's one other thing that I've seen people do is put a colander on the bottom of a container and let the liquid seep through, and then whisk against the colander. That breaks up the miso super fast. That would have been a cool way to do it. Yeah, I agree it would be hard, Jesus, but I think it would be fun. Like if someone else wants to just cook at the same time and be like, all right, like we're gonna cook, we're gonna prep and roast a chicken and see how we both do it. Because I know personally for me, doing brewing, one of the best ways I learn brewing is I brew with other people. Even if it's someone where, say I've been brewing for almost 10 years now. And even if I've been brewing with someone who just started, they might do something I'd never thought of. It's a great way to learn. So I'll do that in a heartbeat. I love that aspect of like these communities. Makers and crafting, mini paintings, the creative. Let me find something. That miso glaze is good. It is salty, so I am going to let it be. Let it be, let it be. Could probably use a little more sugar, all things said. I'm done. I want to get that soy sauce out of there. Actually, how long does a brewing process take? So let me answer this in turn. Buck, I was on site today too. I had to image I had to decrypt a computer of a user who is on medical leave and likely will be for a while, and I wish them the best of luck. Had to decrypt a computer because I was asked originally to obtain some tools off the machine. Then it became can I P2V the machine and drop it onto our Citrix environment for them to access and use? To which the answer is going to be no, because it's running Windows 7 and it's a machine that should have been turned in 2 refreshes ago that they evidently hid because the software package they have it's difficult to install. No, I'm not putting an EOL system on my network because you find something hard. Deal with it. Home network, good times. Yeah, no, I'm just like, no. Difficult for your 4-person team, 5-person team is not me spending 2 to 3 days to P2V a Windows 7 EOL machine that has not been updated or been on our network properly for years and is hopelessly out of date. Not my cup of tea. Lauren said, a brewing process. A brew day is usually about 4 to 6 hours, and then it usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks for the beer to ferment. Then you probably want another 2 to 3 weeks for it to carbonate and age. So all in all, the day itself is about a 6-hour day, including cleanup. That's a big part of it. well, then you need to ferment it and, maybe have an hour of activity until you're ready to keg. And that is about a 6-week process. You can go as short as 4 weeks. Heck, you can go as short as a week if you target your beer very specifically. But about a month to 6 weeks is kind of considered the average. All right, let's get our spice mixture for this ready. So we've got our miso glaze right there. Miso horny. I'm sorry, everybody. Always think of that. We've got our cumin, about a tablespoon. Cumin you do want to go heavy on, assuming you like it, and if you don't like it, don't make these beans. Paprika, smoked paprika in particular, about a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons. Coriander is about a teaspoon. A little more. Oregano is, again, about a teaspoon. Biggest thing you do want is you do want to go heavy on the cumin, especially with these kinds of beans. They take very well to it. You're also going to add ground black pepper. So we're just going to add some whole cloves. Not cloves, but some whole pieces. That's maybe a half teaspoon. And let me get our chipotle. All right, let's get some bands going. And ban and block. Spam. Bot. Bot. Block. Close. And I gotta delete that message. All right, I'm gonna actually use the computer. Big follows. That's crap. Banned. Yeah, house. I am not granting moderator privileges. It was more of a ban the account. Ban error. Bah! All right, let's get our Chipotle. Gamer, I blame you. You weren't here to deal with a bot. Jesus, it's not. The process can be longer. By a rule of thumb, the higher alcohol the beer, the longer the brewing process takes because it needs to age. Be gone, bot. So if you're talking like I've downstairs in my basement, I have the ingredients that I need, the grain that I need for an imperial stout. Now I'm thinking about making it a mole imperial stout. So I'll add some like ancho chilies, a little bit of cinnamon, maybe some vanilla, and some Mexican chocolate. That's going to be about 9% ABV. That's going to need probably 3 months to age before it's even drinkable, because of that high alcohol content. You need time for that to simmer down. Ooh, good call there, Gamer. So Gamer is all fancy, and he put in a block for that exact phrase. Good call, Gamer. Might want to do a star. Buy followers, primes, and viewers on star. Because if someone says that much, they're automatically. If we could put in a variable for that. All right, so here's our spice mixture again. Our cumin, coriander, oregano, black pepper. And we're going to be adding this in shortly. We're going to get our garlic ready. Then we're going to hop back and finish up our tuna salad. And then once the family gets home, I need to start the rice now. I am glad that I remembered that I need to start the rice now because brown rice does take about 30 minutes to cook. We're also going to do steamed broccoli. So it's going to be brown rice, steamed broccoli, and the miso glazed salmon. Part of my goal for this was to have a meal that I could just kind of throw together. Like the salmon part, and I'm going to steam the broccoli. Those are just easy to do. So I can spend the time on prepping the beans and then making tuna salad for later. And for those who don't, Gamer for Life streams himself. He's been doing a bunch of Valheim recently. Some Overwatch thrown in. There's another war game you're playing. He streams, and Buck Naked also streams. Was doing some Lurin board work. A lot of technical stuff, and a fun little chat to hang out with. So if you're interested in either the techie components or just watch another gaming streamer, Gamer for Life and Buck Naked are some good choices, and they're chatting with us right now. Is it dangerous? Thank you very much. Is it dangerous to talk? So with brewing, no, there are no aside from alcohol, which is a poison. There are no known pathogens in beer that impact humans negatively. That said, like if there could be infections in a beer of like mold or other bacteria, and they'll make it taste bad, but you'll know as soon as you taste an infected bad beer. Otherwise, the whole thing is the fermentation process, the alcohol outcompetes it as a toxin to other organisms. So that's why it's safe, is the combination of boiling and then adding in the yeast. They outcompete everything else. So that's how it's safe. That's why it's safe. You can hear me, but your audio seems low to me, and I am at 78% on volume. Thank you for the heads up. I'll talk a little bit louder. Right now, I am using my primary mic is set down, and I'm using the Brio. I am going to kick it up slightly. I had some reports when I first set this up, so I'm using this Brio right here because it's got a pair of mics able to work. I had some reports early on that it sounded very harsh, so I had to cut down the volume pretty significantly in order for it to be heard. I've since updated a bunch of drivers, and I think there's this driver issue. So is this better? How does the volume sound to everyone? I just kicked up the volume on my end slightly. I don't want to blow out anyone's eardrums. Again, I'm using the array on the webcam directly in front of me. It's also why I'm not using it like a condenser mic, because I'm already talking into a microphone pretty darn close. Little better for you. Okay. So yeah, I don't want to blow anyone out. Again, I want to err on the side of caution, but thanks for the heads up. I forgot I hadn't kicked the volume back up, so that could be it. To that point, I am going to quickly use a grinder. I am going to mute it because this is a little harsh, and I don't know how the new mic will work. Alrighty. Nice powder. Actually, again, I don't think it's that bad. It's pretty low. So here's what it sounded like. Yeah, it wasn't even picking up fully. My voice is a lot more. Okay, so we're good. We're going to kick the heat on this back up. We are going to grate in, let's say, 2 cloves of garlic. I'm actually going to rinse give the beans a quick rinse, make sure we don't have any stones in here. And then it's going to be like, put it in. I think I usually do about 25 minutes and walk away. That's not bad at all. Perfect. Yeah, it's I was playing with the sensitivity to make sure that the mic was picking up my voice, especially when I'm this close to it, and other things were trying to age out better. But again, I'm not using a condenser mic. My thought is, I've got a webcam this close, again, within a foot of my face. It's probably going to do just as well as any condenser mic for this kind of reasonable work. Yes, there is a limiter set on. I was playing with the different settings. It's all a work in progress. Each day is let me make it a little bit better than it was the day before. Beans are rinsed. Let's grate some cloves of garlic. Let's get the heat back up. We're going to start off very gently. We're going to do maybe 30... because I want to do about 30 seconds of the garlic cloves on heat, and then I want to add in the water and our stock. That's also going to add in our spices. We want to get it to a boil. We want to figure out the salt level, and then we'll put in the beans, and we'll kind of cover from there. Do I still have the garlic up here? Did I finish that off? I finished that off. No, Buck, good points. Very good points. Let's do 4 cloves of garlic. Why? Because garlic is delicious. I loves me my garlic. Let's get our... So we got the water boiling over there. That will probably be for the rice. And then I'll boil another batch of water for our black beans. I squished the crap out of that garlic. Whoopsies. Buck, it was you that had the Mr. Bean come in at the Mortal Kombat whoopsie noise, wasn't it? Whoopsie or toasty. Mr. Bean coming in. I laughed pretty hard at that. Such like a brutal, gory game. Mortal Kombat 3, and then just uppercut someone right in the cojones, and you hear, whoop, toasty! It's like, oh, that just re-illustrated the fact, like, yeah, this is a game. We're dumb. We're having fun. You do. I laughed really hard the first time I saw that. That was good. That was good. Alright, so I'm going to do about a cup of brown rice. I'm not really going to show this because it's brown rice. Like, I'd rather keep the camera on this until the lid goes on. So we're talking about, again, a cup of brown rice. I really do prefer brown rice to white. White is good if you've got a super heavily seasoned sauce and like you just need to soak up all the sauciness. But 9 times out of 10, a short grain brown rice is going to do everything you need. The other thing that's cool about brown rice, if you didn't know, is you can cook it like pasta. Just put in more water than you need, like a 3-to-1 or a 4-to-1 ratio, and just cook it loose. And when it's done, you just drain it, and you're done. Like that's all you need to do for brown rice. Makes it really convenient and really foolproof. Just start checking it at the 25 to 30 minute mark. I do prefer short grain brown rice. I think it's a little more multi-purpose, but you can't always find it. So, have I seen the trailer for the new Mortal Kombat music game made by Quentin Tarantino? Yeah. I have not seen it. I know it exists. I don't watch TV. I don't do a whole lot of movies. I find most of the time, if I want to do something like that, I'd rather watch either a Let's Play of a game that I want to play, but I know I'm not going to have time for, or I'll play a game myself. I frankly find TV and film, I find it to be pretty boring. I almost always want something that's more engaging, more involved. Pretty good. I mean, I enjoyed the first ones because they were just fun to watch. So how about this? That's one that I wouldn't mind seeing or at least investigating. But I also know me as a person, I have a tough time with movies because they have they don't always hold my attention. I'm just salting the water of our pasta. I'm going to get our saute on. I should get more water into there first. Gonna get our saute off. Boil about 6 cups of water, with the idea being once I add the beans, I want to make sure that I can fill it up to the level of the beans and about an inch above. We will also use some a vegetarian broth and like a salt mix to flavor however much water we end up adding. So I'm probably going to get about 6 cups of water. I probably only need a 5, but I don't know for certain given how our vegetables have cooked down. So I just want to be cautious, especially when I'm using an electric kettle like this. There's no harm in getting a little extra liquid. Alexa, set timer for 30 minutes. Gonna put the lid on the pot, low heat. The cutscenes for Star Wars movies are the best. The cutscenes for Star Wars games are the best. What in particular? I've loved. I haven't played a lot of the recent Star Wars games. And the little one is home along with the dear wife. What's that? This bean keeps on fire.
Downstairs lights on.
Ooh, that is still hot.
What did you do? I said on. Alexa, downstairs lights on.
Thank God for additional overhead lights.
How about? Well, I'm going to. You help me with dishes. Would that be fun?
Okay. We're getting our heat up. Our water is heating up. Our beans are right there. Pretty much everything's. What we're going to do is going to be pretty rapid fire. Is get this back. Let's get it back up to heat. We're at a good spot now. Going to get this back up to heat. We're going to grate our garlic in about 30 seconds. Add in all of our beans. Mix it all around. Then add our water. Get it up to the right level and cap it. And then we're going to move off to the prepping the tuna. Because the salmon's only going to take about 15 minutes to cook. I would imagine, dear, that dinner will be ready about in an hour's time, just so that way I can do everything.
1 hour?
1 hour, yes.
Ruthie, are you hungry? Would you like some oranges for a snack?
Let me get some of them.
Or some
You'll post them
apple.
in my channel on the crap. Yeah, perfect. Buck, that'll be awesome. Yeah, that kind of stuff I love watching.
Would you also like, so you can have a cheese stick. And we also have
Just trying to see what else I have to do or what I need to take care of. A smaller bag is one of the next things I need to do is make another batch of chicken stock with all the bones of the meal. So we'll take the second to clean real quickly, and then we will start our. We'll get our garlic in there. We'll get our beans in there. We'll get the hot water in there. Now that's getting up to a boil. Hey, Roger. Discord name is just Demon. DEAMONN. Slightly confusing. I kind of bounce between the two of them. I've had this one longer. I've had Sacred Demon for the past 18 years since I got a invite to Gmail, which is kind of bizarre. Hey, Roger. Needs more salt. Add some hot sauce. Don't overcook it. Hey, what's up? That is a great movie. I hope you're referencing The Princess Frog. Me with the hot sauce isn't the issue. It's I need to temper down my preferences so I don't blow out the family's palate.
Yes, please don't kill us with heat.
I am not. I am saying how I temper down.
Yep. May I get a plate for small child?
Go for it.
Thank you.
So Roger, again, Roger, thank you very much. Anyone who likes the mini painting community. Roger has been doing this for about a year, only a year, and done some great stuff. Here, the Rapture, this is one of my favorites. The Torchbearer makes great stuff. It is stupid hot. It's about 1 million Scoville, and it's an all-natural hot sauce. So no derivatives, no extracts, just straight up ludicrous amounts of hot peppers. All right, yeah, this is starting to look good. And we'll grate into, tell you, craziest hot sauce I've ever had was called, was very mild, like mandarin orange and carrot. A lot of hot sauces, a lot of natural hot sauces use mandarin orange and carrot to balance the acidity as well as the sweetness level. I mean, that actually, like a fermented carrot and orange sauce sounds like it would be good for just general, that just sounds like a tasty general sauce.
Sounds like something that will turn me orange.
Again. We'll pretend it's a tan. Not into hot sauce. Someone added to your lasagna? Oh, that's mean. That is no bueno. Lasagna is one of those that really does not need hot sauce. You had one named Bring the Pain, and it stood up to its name. Yeah, so so Jesus, I am one of those strange people that has an unnatural, affinity and tolerance for hot sauces. That said, from a cooking standpoint, I also totally understand how that is not for everyone. And so my goal when I cook is to find that happy balance of like what is, say if your maximum, the hottest you can do is a 5, I want to serve you a 3. The idea that you could go hotter, but you don't have to. Yeah, Raj, I wouldn't hang out with those people. That's a seriously D-bag move. I'm very, despite, again, I really like hot sauce, but I'm about, only once, I will say, did I like purposefully blow out some people's palates. But it was at a fraternity thing, and I was tasked with doing all of the meal prep on my own. So I was a little bit devious with it.
You gave them low-fat sour cream doused with, what, habaneros or Scotch bonnets?
Chipotles. The Scotch bonnets were in the chili.
Oh.
Long and short,
My mistake.
I was tasked with making a chili, a barbecue chili for like 20 people. And I made it, and I fed the group. But it was a bit last minute. I wasn't really being paid back for it. And I was like, hey, you can do this, right? And so I was a little devious and layered Scotch bonnets and jalapenos in the base chili. And then to cool off, and I had a row of hot sauces. And to cool off, I had a big bowl of sour cream. But I used low-fat sour cream and blended in pureed chipotles and adobo sauce. So it was a serious, like, it cooled a little bit, and then the heat just built and ramped back up. So I remember one friend was just like sitting like sadly in the shade eating chili, tears streaming down his face. He was like, it burns so much, but it tastes so good. Oh, Trapper. Fun times were had by all. Lauren Savior just ate one of those peppers because he thought, how bad could they be? Oh, they are brutal. Mixed powder of sweet peppers, the hot ones. Ooh, you mixed up the powders of sweet peppers for hot ones. That does not sound ideal there, Roger. Though, again, in all honesty, that is why I keep a big thing of paprika right here. Smoked paprika, because usually if I want that pepper flavor, that smoky pepper flavor, I can just throw a little bit of that in, and that's all I need. And if I want more for myself, I've got a whole slew of different hot sauces I'll throw in. With my favorite, Buffalo salsa chipotle. This stuff's absolutely divine. It's smoky, it's rich, it's savory, a little bit of sweetness to it, little heat, but not much. It's more about that smoke and just kind of an umptuous depth to it. This stuff is seriously hot. But it's good. But again, it's peppery. Like peppery tropical fruit, like a lot of super hots. Another good one is Secret Aardvark Habanero is a tasty one. If you like that. We did a hot sauce tasting one of your brew days. Oh, Lord and Savior, water just makes it worse. Yeah, Gamer is right. At one of my brew days, we had a salsa tasting where we just lined up a whole bunch of different salsas and we tried them to see how they were, and I think a lot of people started bailing out about halfway through. Okay, this is looking good. I'm pretty happy with how this is. It's still going to keep on rendering. You know, we're still getting more of that steam coming off. The other benefit is it's getting the fat and the heat is helping to release a lot more flavor compounds from the spices we added in. So this is just helping to make it a little more complex in a good way. I don't want to overdo it. So I'm going to be aware of it. I'm going to wait until I start smelling that like slightly scorched, that slightly acrid, or even a hair before and we're just toasty, Mr. Bean. And then I'm going to put in our beans. We're going to mix it in. We're going to add in our water. And then we're going to add in our stock base, our vegetable stock base, which is very salty, to bring the salt up to the level that we're happy with. And then we're going to cap it. And we're going to let it go for, I think, like 25 minutes. I'm actually going to check my notebook. Black beans. In spot, yeah, 20 minutes high pressure and then a natural release for 20 minutes. So we're just about done. Done the prep. I just want to give this a little more. That's what I want. So see how it's sticking ever so slightly? That means all that surface moisture is just about driven away as far as we want it. So we're going to add some vinegar. Not much. It's going to be just enough to loosen the bottom. You know, vinegar acids will deglaze the pan. That's why you heard the term deglaze the pan. That just adds some kind of acid to loosen up the bottom matrix. Let's add our beans in. Let's give that a little stirry stir. Going to add in our Sazon Goya. It's, again, salt, garlic, a little oregano, little black pepper, a little MSG, a little paprika. Just kind of, it's a good baseline for a lot of Mexican foods. All right. We're good with that. So again, we're going to add in about... So I've got 6 cups of water right here. We're probably going to add in 5 and then see where we are. Okay, so that's 4 cups. We really don't want to see any beans because we do need the free water to be absorbed. So we're going to add another... Yeah, let's add another... That's about 5 cups of water right there. Yeah. We should be good with this. If I need any more, I can always add in more water and give it another like couple minutes on high pressure. Let's give that a taste. And any salt that we need, that we think any seasoning we need from here, we'll be adding in again with a like a vegetarian soup base, which is again very salty, but also has again that other. It's going to be more celery, more onion, more carrot stock, really. Good flavor. Definitely needs salt. And this is where you got to season the beans. Gardener. long time ago, I grew a pet chili plant on balcony. It was named Thorky. You picked a bunch of the share friends, went out, and after a few years, decided to compete who could eat the most of them. One girl kicked our asses eating them and laughing at our tears. Oh, that is awesome. And it's anyone can be a chili head. That's awesome. Gardner, what do you know what kind of pepper plant it was? I've grown jalapenos. I've grown Hobbs. They didn't really do well. Shishitos, and I had an ornamental chili. The ornamental probably did the best of all of them. Here is our vegetarian stock.
I may have provided our spawn a little too much in snackage.
Well, then more salmon for us. Good thing we have 2 pounds of it.
I love you.
All right, so yeah, we're using this Better Than Bouillon because again, all the stocks and seasonings I have in my basement are have at least some kind of meat in them, and I mean it's not a vegetarian, but it's reducing waste, which I'm more concerned about. But I'm okay with making this just again a strict vegetarian dish. Again, so far it's a strict vegan dish. I don't think there's any.
What are things to wash?
Things in the sink.
Okay, well, that's already taken care of.
So that's it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're in pretty good shape. I tried to do some dishes beforehand before starting, or at least prepping and moving stuff around.
Yeah, and we're so not having a dishwashing cam.
No.
We don't need that many wires. I love you guys and gals and nondescript people. No.
You're not sure they grew 3 to 5 centimeters. They grow upwards. Ornamentals. Those are ornamental. Those are Asian ornamental chilies. And yes, that little tiny guys. Yeah, they're fun. Those are good. That's the plant that I had that did the best of all the chilies I've ever done. Unfortunately, I felt that personally it was more heat. There wasn't a whole lot of flavor to it. But it was a very good producing plant. Did not take up a whole lot of space. All right, so we've added about a tablespoon of our stock. Let's see how it is. And if we need more, we'll add a little more. If we want more, we can have more. You're still growing Thorky's children. That's awesome. That's pretty cool. I like that. Gardner, if you have a picture of one of them, put it up on Instagram so I can take a look and I can confirm what kind of chili it is. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. Lauren Savior, the way you talk about your basement makes it seem like it's a vault with foods, beers, and huge.
And worms.
And what?
And worms.
And worms, yes. So in our it is very tiny. It is 500 square feet, but it is chock full. There are 2 mini fridges down there. One is the beer fridge that mostly holds soda right now, or mixers at least. One is my kegerator with 3 kegs in it. And we have our vermiculture farm, our worm farm down there. And then most of it's probably pantry space. I know, a lot of people will have a large portion of their basement will be, decorations and clothes and all that, but ours is food. Food and storage. That way we go through. We also do not dine out very much at all, especially recently. Almost everything we eat, we cook ourselves. And so because of that, you need to have a good supply, especially when you're not going to the market daily. You're going maybe twice a week. So having a well-stocked pantry lets you rotate through everything. So I gave that a taste. It does need a little more salt. And instead of just straight salt, I'd rather add in more of our Better Than Bouillon. So I'm going to do half the amount that I did last time. We'll let that dissolve. Yeah, so we give up a large portion of the space in our basement to food and items. And then we have a second part, the laundry side, we call it, with some tools. That's the laundry machine, the washer. I also have a couple machines, a couple servers over there for some work when I want to. That's also like the heater, the hot water heater, the furnace, like all those are on the other side. So the space is kind of taken already. All right, so that should have dissolved nicely, especially with all the heat we have right now. Again, I'm aiming for a 6:30 dinner, so the stove is preheated. Our salmon's marinating. We're gonna pull it in 10 minutes, and we're going to dry it, and we're going to do our miso glaze, and that's only going to take about 15 minutes to cook at most. So we'll have time to work on the tuna salad. That's tasty. It's not. It's actually a little undersalted where I want it to be, which is perfect because this is going to reduce down. Not much because it is a Instapot. It is a pressure cooker. I'm very content with where this is. So we're going to cap this off. I am going to drop a bay leaf or two in. The nice medicinal character of the bay leaf will go very well with this. All right, let's get our Instapot lid. We're going to do, I'd say, 25 minutes at high pressure. 28 minutes is when I lasted, so I'll just follow that. I probably had a reason. And then I'll move you, just so we have this cam doing something. That's our rice camera. nothing crazy, nothing special. You don't even have basements, yeah. So we in America, we live in what's called a townhouse. So it's one decent sized house split down the middle, and it's built for this configuration. So we have one half of the house, first floor, second floor. The house is like right down the middle, split, and we share a firewall with our neighbors, a very heavy duty like cinder block wall, and they're great people. And it's an efficient way to live. It's about 1,000 square feet, so it's not huge, but it's enough. And again, in America, you do have traditionally houses and living situations are larger, just because land is more readily available. You know, when you think of Amsterdam was founded in, or like Rotterdam was founded in the 13th century or something, and all of our modern cities, the newest of them, are from the 17th century, all things considered. It's a very different perspective. 2 under 1 roof. Yeah, so it kind of, but even the roofs are separate. And they're treated as separate plots of land for construction work. So they share a foundation, and they share that firewall between them. But other than that, each one is considered its own discrete unit. And it's a way of maximizing space in smaller areas or like developments. They're very easy for a single person to build multiple of very quickly. So expanding housing is a big point of them. Yeah, probably older. That's exactly it. So when you do consider the fact that America is a young country, there's no way around that, and it's a big country. It's one of the biggest in the world. I think America is in like the top. The United States of America is in the top 10. Like, it is one of the largest single countries in the world. And that means there's a lot of space that the European countries in particular just don't have. Even China, which is enormous, its cities are so heavily densely populated, more so than the American equivalents, because of, again, that history that the US just doesn't have. And that's fine, but knowing those cultural backgrounds help explain other things. Again, that's where food, I think, comes in, of helping to suss out some of those nuances. All right, so we've been draining our tuna water long enough. We're going to drop that tuna water into a tin for our pain in the butt cat. And then we're going to start making our tuna salad. she's sleeping. Fluffs.
Yeah.
I've got tuna water for her. All right. So we have our drained tuna right here. I'm going to rinse this because I'll probably use this colander for the rice. Yeah, it was based on my old studio to design place. We got told early that the USA sadly doesn't do much city planning because, well, yeah. So there are exceptions. The other component of that is Jesus is something that's commonly described as urban sprawl, where a city's boundaries just grow and grow and grow to actually reach out bigger. So what was once a suburb of a city with like a good amount of space in between houses with lawns and yards and all that eventually become part of the city itself, especially when new metro areas grow up around it. And you have these crazy old houses with huge amounts of space and land in these cities where land is a premium. So eventually, the house isn't worth the land it's on, and it gets demoed, and multiple houses get put up on that plot of land. But it's because of the growth. We're getting where you don't have that, and not in Europe it's less common because you experienced that 200 years ago when it was a completely different mode of mechanization and automation, frankly. Yeah, space is the big part. It's like that. When does the land seem more valuable than the structure? Or what other structures could be there? That's nice and clean for when we need it. All right. So as we said, this is our tuna. It's been well drained. We're going to now start adding in vegetables and other components. We've got our onions we're going to throw in. We're going to probably throw in 1 clove of garlic minced. It's gonna bite, but we're okay with that. We can even soak. Ooh, let's soak a clove of garlic in some of our vinegar from our onions. That will help reduce the garlic bite while still making sure we got some flavor in there. We'll also throw in some carrot, and I'm going to mince up some shallot to throw in here, as per Mitten's more onions command. And we'll throw in some celery as well. So this is our base, 2 things of tuna. Yeah, steer clear from nature for a good feeling. America's getting better at that, of appreciating what it is. It does depend, and again, it is a political thing. It is going to depend on the political bent, the skew of not only the city or the expanding group, but also the state itself. And you've probably seen the news. Right now, America is more split politically than it's ever been, and that's all I'm going to say on the politics. But there is a political component that needs to be acknowledged, at least. Addressed, hopefully, but even if you don't do that, acknowledge. So let's keep on getting our food together. Because food is much more important. Oh, there they are. So we're also going to get out our mayo, our mustard. And I'll go grab a scallion to throw in. And the scallion I'm going to throw in straight. Scallions are much more mild than other onions, so we can throw a scallion right into that straight. No worries. It's I'm not saying I want to get political. I'm just saying it is important to acknowledge that the utilization of expansion, especially with regards to natural areas, has a political skew. That's just acknowledging the facts, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, again, going on to say which is right, which is right, which is wrong, what is the correct, that's outside of the scope of this conversation. But acknowledging that there is a political component, whether you decide that it is worth destroying environment for human utilization, or it is worth spending more capital and resources to not do so is a very fair point, and there is not always a right answer. There are plenty of times where it is worth it to, like, hey, this land isn't really usable for anything else, or it's going to be much better served for human habitation. All right, there's a human cost, there's a capital cost, and those are very real things that you can't discount. And there's times where it's like, yeah, it's better for the screw nature. The humans are going to live here. Other times it's not that simple, and that's fine. The way that I always look at it, and the way that I kind of always remind myself, is much more. It is never a yes no. There is nuance to this. Either extreme is never the right answer. So, back to food and beer. I think it was Kevin Kitsune. Ooh, our rice. Let's go check our rice. Kevin Kitsune was asking about different beers to try. I was curious if he'd hop in and have some insight. Alexa, stop. So we've got our rice going right here. We already given it a little stir. It's good. Another 5 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Hey, Thick, how you doing this fine evening? Thank you for hopping on in. I know you tend to, around like 6 o'clock is when you're able to hop in, so glad you could join us. Today's a kind of a fish Friday. We got some black beans going on. We got some, I'll be making some like really, really tasty tuna salad. I'll do some teriyaki salmon with brown rice and steamed broccoli. We got a host of things going on. And Jesus, yes, there is never one right answer. It is always in all honesty, it is always a judgment call, and it is always based on the situation. It is never always this or always that. Now, again, you've kind of seen me, go on and say I am about reducing my carbon footprint or reusing, utilizing stuff. But that's just, I think I've got the ability to do so. I like the outdoors. I like hiking. I like camping. And America's a big place, and I've seen a surprising amount of it. And I appreciate that. I like being outside. I like doing stuff. So I want to enjoy that. I also, I will just leave it at that. Like, I want to be outside when I can. I want to make sure that it's going to be here tomorrow. The outdoors are still here tomorrow in a way that we can enjoy them unspoiled. But I also want to make sure we got space for people. Make sure people can live on the land and continue to grow. So it's a balancing act. All right, got 25 minutes left on our Instapot, so we're gonna start putting together some of these tasty foods. Here we've got our pickled red onion. And I'm going to put them into a small container. I'm going to grab maybe like a tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons. I add all those shallots. Maybe 2 tablespoons right here. I'm going to add a little bit of that liquid. Again, we don't want much liquid at all. And I'm going to grate a clove of garlic into that. And that'll help reduce the bite as well as provide more of that garlicky flavor. You going hiking tomorrow? I'm actually in the States. I'm in Pennsylvania, and I'll be going to New Jersey, which is one state over. It's about a 50-mile drive. Let's say like 110 kilometers. So I'll go one over, and I might see some friends and just do like a 4 to 5K hike. Thick, we are doing well. As you can see, we have our rice going. A little longer. We've got black beans going, and I've got the lovely Mittens picked up about 2 pounds of salmon for the 3 of us to have for dinner. Which, again, frankly, we're all going to eat. It's going to be delicious. So we got a nice little feast prepped for us right now. I'm just making this... Caught it! I'm just making this tuna salad for, like, lunches or, like, over the next couple days. I've got a couple like modifications I do to make sure that it's not just swimming in mayo, and I add in a lot of vegetables. I'll throw in different components, make it a little more savory, so it ends up being a very satisfying, like mixed tuna salad. So what I was saying, like right here, I've got some red onions that I minced and quick pickled in vinegar, sugar, and salt, and I'm mixing up a clove of garlic in there. And by adding the garlic to an acid right away, it doesn't get that pungent garlic flavor. It's not going to be that acid almost so flavor, but it's still going to be that more nuanced light garlic flavor. So it's a really cool way to lighten up the flavor. We'll let that sit for 5 minutes. While that's sitting, I'm going to grab a stalk of celery. We're going to mince that well and toss that in. I really do think celery is a crucial addition to tuna salad. But we're going to chop it fine, as I said. Like, we do want this to be kind of like blend in. There's our 5-minute timer to check our rice. Alexa, stop. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's get that drained and then back into the pot to just kind of finish steaming. Oh yeah, so Thick, I will show you in a second. Again, the fact that you can cook brown rice like pasta and just like an extra amount of water is such a good way to cook it. What I'm doing here is I'm adding in this this cloth towel, folding it over. That's going to help absorb all the additional moisture that's being given off, so we don't get soggy rice. Mondo, you got a crock pot? Ooh, make some pulled pork. Very cool. Crock pots, Instapots, like they are great ways like that open up a whole lot of like low stress and safe cooking methods, especially for like leaving the house. You're gonna go watch the backside of the eyeballs, enjoy the meal. Jesus, thank you very much for hopping on. I really do appreciate it, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Hope the new job is going well. Get some rest. Yeah, it's like 11 o'clock. It's 23:09 for you right now, so get some rest. We'll catch you later. How much you got left on the stream? How long should I say? Probably another 20 minutes. I am going to be, because I've got my rice done. I'm doing the miso glazed salmon teriyaki for dinner proper. And I'm gonna just chop up these, and I'm gonna make this this tuna salad. So if you got somewhere to go, of course, I always appreciate hopping in. But if you got some suggestions, you're gonna hang out. Always happy to have you, dude. But yeah, I'd say I've got another 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. I'm going to make sure I can get a meal out to the family in a good order. But I also gave them the heads up that, hey, expect it not at 6 o'clock. So when I'm not streaming, I try to aim for 6 o'clock meal times. So they're prepared. They've got their cheese sticks. They've got their hummus and pretzels. Yes, I'll be on for another little bit. Plus, the little one has had a full week of school, so they are very contently sitting on the couch, watching some TV, snacking on some food, fruits and vegetables, and a cheese stick. So we're gonna give this a nice mince. Ooh, are you asking for raid reasons, Buck? Is Biska gonna roll in and actually get the name right this time? 20 minutes is perfect for me. Hope I'll still be awake. This is perfect for me. Yeah. Yeah, pulled pork can take a long time, but thick. I mean, you guys have dinner at like midnight, so. All right. So we got some nicely minced celery. Again, we really do want these fine pieces of veg. We want the tuna to be the biggest pieces we have in this. We're at 611. I'm going to add this on in. Then I'm going to prep our pan for our salmon. All right. So I'm going to move this to the side just for a little bit so we can get our pan ready. There's no more veg we're really going to be chopping, so I'm going to be putting the prep block for the next thing right on top of here. Probably put a layer of paper towels down so it doesn't slide. You were yes, but not sure. Biska's not. He's been doing a lot of cooking streams the past couple days. The Juicy Lucy's yesterday, I believe. That was pretty cool to see. Yeah, so thick. This is the side of salmon that Mittens has. So it's gonna fill up a quarter pan pretty well. This might be a sixth pan. Pork in there for 2.5 hours. Oh no, if you're doing pulled pork, thick, you want like, you're gonna want like 10 hours on low, maybe 6 hours on high. Like you're talking hours. The idea is like you go to work in the morning and come back and it might be ready. 2.5 hours is nothing. Like you got at least another 3 hours. You also got to keep that lid on because that keeps in so much heat. And it's a long and slow process. So keep that lid on, keep the heat building. What you can always do like in a pinch is start on high heat, have it be high heat for an hour or two, and then kick it down to low. That way you have that initial like boost of heat moving into it to get it up to temp, and then you hold it at the heat to break it down. A little tear right there, but this will still be fine. Let's get our salmon ready. So we're going to spray the bottom of this pan with a little bit of a non-stick cooking spray. We're going to grab our salmon. We're going to pull it out. We're going to pat it dry, then plop it on. So again, we want to get rid of all the moisture we can. We want this to crisp. Okay, here's our salmon. Just pop it right on top. Just get it a little out of the way. If I had a baker's rack already set into another pan, I would have done that a little while ago. This will work for just kind of pick up. Put on a double thick layer of paper towels. We're going to move this out of the way. Now again, just pat dry. Whole idea is to maximize the amount of and how quickly it dries out. Because once that surface moisture is gone, we can start getting that caramelized top, as well as just it's going to cook all the way through a little bit quicker. Alrighty. this thin piece, this belly piece, is going to cook faster. What I could do is throw a piece of tinfoil over it, like maybe to just shield it a little bit. I may do so. Could also just give that part to the little one. They like their salmon more well done than the wife and I do. That's going to just be the easier way to do it. So, yeah. So let's grab our pastry brush, our silicone pastry brush. And this is a mixture of miso, of soy sauce, and some mirin, some sweet Japanese wine. And all those together are going to make a fantastic glaze, I hope. Oh, and a little bit of honey, too, for sweetness without salt. Dipping the brush back in because this glaze is not going to be used for anything other than this salmon. We've got a teriyaki sauce that we'll use for the rice and for the steamed broccoli we're going to serve with this. Just about done. And this is about a 2-pound piece of salmon. And thick for your earlier comment. Yeah, salmon's delicious. It is the family's favorite fish by far. So this is just going to be a nice miso and honey glaze, just crisp up and go. Our oven is at 450 degrees Fahrenheit on a convection mode, again with the idea of dry out that surface as fast as possible, start crisping it on up. If your oven has convection, you want to use it for stuff like roast chicken, cookies, anything that a crispy outer skin is paramount. They just ordered chicken and waffles. You know what, gamer? That has a very, very strong place in the world. Chicken and waffles is good. No arguments in the least. All right. So the final thing we're going to do is we're going to get this temperature probe into the thickest part of the salmon. Our goal is we don't care about how long it takes to cook. We care about what temperature it gets to. So a piece of salmon this thick, we're going to aim for 125 degrees at the thickest part. So right in here, I'm going to try to get my probe in. And again, 125 degrees. That means this part is going to be well done, but the kiddo loves that. So that's perfect for us. And that probe is right about here in the center piece. So rightly says 100. We're going to kick it up to, again, 125. And after we pull it, we are going to let it rest for about 5 minutes. That will let the temperature kind of equalize a little bit, and then we're going to serve very quickly after that. The broccoli is probably only going to take about 5 minutes to steam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep all the broccoli, have a boiling pot of water, and then once I hear the beeping, I'm going to add the broccoli, then pull this. So let's even do 124. That'll be like 1 degree warning. So that should take 10 minutes. If it goes off sooner than that, that's my indicator of I might need to recheck this. So let's pop this on in. You smell something what? Yeah, we're having salmon fish for dinner. Where's pretty? What is the pretty thing? Is it the miso? Can you hear? Is it this? Yeah. This is miso. This is what's on top of our salmon fish. Gotta love the kiddo who's interested in the food.
Yeah.
Never had chicken and waffles. There's this restaurant in New York that serves fried chicken red velvet waffles. Ooh, that is intriguing. I like that idea there, Thick. All right, we have our shallots. We have our celery. We're going to add in our garlic and our red onion, our pickled red onion, with its liquid. We want to make sure we have that little bit of acid to counteract everything. We're going to shred 1 or 2 carrots into there, and then we're going to start adding in a little bit of dollop of mustard, and then our mayo. we're going to add our fish sauce now. That is another salty item. So adding it now will help us determine what the final amount of salt is. And it's a liquid. So again, we want to add that kind of early. Just that, maybe a half a teaspoon.
I can sit with you.
Let's get our carrots. I'll probably do like 2, maybe 3 carrots shredded on in. We'll start with 4 because again, this will add some sweetness. We don't want it to be sweet, but we do want again that little textural difference of what's going on. All right, Buck, take it easy. You as well, man. I do appreciate it. Thanks for hopping on. Always sharing a bit. I'll hopefully catch you once or twice next week. Adios, buddy.
You like that?
Alrighty.
Yep. That's right.
All right, we got like 2 more pieces of carrot to go. We're going to be prepping for raiding soon. So if there's anyone would like to raid or anyone has in mind that's online, I'm all ears. Yeah, there's a bunch of mini painters, as always, I can hop into. I think Friday evenings tend to be a little bit lighter on my raid choices. But Gamer Thick in particular, if you guys have any suggestions. Yeah, it's like Captain Madlove and Captain Madlove is the only one. There's one other guy who does building Gundam kits, but he's doing a Pokemon Moon, Pokemon Sword and Shield right now, which is not a bad call. Is it Inward?
If mommy says no.
Hey, Garden. So I, of course, I don't have my own Discord. I have one that I do with a bunch of my buddies growing back up. I think Buck Naked was referencing a makers and crafters Discord. They have a food section. I think they've got a gardening section too. So I'd say message Buck Naked 78. He has his own Twitch channel, and again, he's part of a larger group that again has a Discord with a food section. I tend to be active in the food section. I feel like they have a gardening section also. And if not, I'll ask them to make one because I think a lot of us have been doing that. I've thought about making my own Discord, but again, I'm doing this kind of for fun right now. It's a thought, don't get me wrong. But the time and energy I could spend making that a Discord, I'd rather I saw that you liked a bunch of my stuff on Instagram. Thank you. I'd rather spend effort on maybe shoring up that a bit better, maybe providing more there. And I also want to make a chat bot in this chat so you can ask about a recipe and it'll auto respond with something. I say Skyman might be someone to raid. Noted. Yeah, reach out to Buck again. That's where I've been posting a bunch of my food recipes anyway. Thick Support Main has a really cool Discord that I've been part of. They do a lot of the gaming. They've got a food section also. Really cool, really chill bunch of people. So Thick, if you want to drop that there. But they're kind of the big ones that have been doing for the makers and crafting or the gaming. But, I'm in it for the food. But again, gardening, I'm probably going to be doing a bunch of gardening once the weather gets nicer. I know a bunch of my friends have already started their seeds. They're setting up little growing situations in their basements. It looks like weed farms, but it's for seeds for tomatoes because you got to start them so early. I think where I am is zone 7A is where I technically am. So, we're gonna add in about a tablespoon or so of mustard, Dijon mustard. And now we're gonna add in maybe a 1/4 cup of mayo. This is still not a lot of mayo considering how much fish and vegetables we have in here. But again, it's that point of all that fish and vegetables helps to really bulk this out and make it a lot more interesting. You agree with being part of another Discord? Yeah. Again, I'm doing this for fun. I want to hang out. Again, both again, Buck Naked. He's part of a crafters guild. So like woodworking and stuff. And again, a food section. And then Thick Support Main. She has her own one with their partner Mondo. And they've got a bunch of fun stuff on there too. So it's more gaming oriented, but there is a food section that we talk about as well. And I actually think we were talking about gardening. Like there was, yeah, Thick. We were talking about different gardening things that we want to do this coming spring, right? I mean, you were saying that you want to hear your entire farmhouse, but was it Sega who was or Supremi who was going on about they want to like prep their own little balcony farm, a little balcony garden. Yeah, there you go, Gamer. Gamer is the one. So again, Gamer's an IRL friend of mine who introduced me to Thick and Mondo, and like when I started off, posted me to a bunch of their early discords. That's how I got to know them, and I'm very happy I did. It's been a fun time. All right, so you can see we didn't add a whole lot of mayo, but it's really thickening up. So I'm going to give this a quick little try. We're going to see what else we need. We do need more mayo. We can absorb it a little more. A little, maybe a little more red onion. This is the part where you go low early and you slowly add more in. So I'm going to add more mayo, and we're going to mix it on up. Maybe a little black pepper would go well in here. So I'm going to get a clean spoon. Our salmon is at about 80 degrees. Ooh, that's looking good. Your garden is an 8B. How did you manage that? Just what you're able to do with it, or you did have to drive like 30 minutes away? Yeah, Thick and Mondo are fun. They're a lot of fun. All right, mayo level. I'm happy with this. I want a little bit of black pepper, and I want some salt. Not much. The other thing is to remember that it's because if it gets served cold, like hot food and cold food, you want the same salt level. Warm food will taste saltier than either extreme due to either the deadening or the heightening of other flavor compounds. So knowing what temperature you're going to serve the food is a very important thing. Given where it is right now, I'm going to add a little bit of salt to this. Actually, in all honesty, I'm adding a little bit of MSG to this. MSG can provide a stronger flavor enhancing than just salt alone without making it saltier. So if I feel like it still needs something after this, then I'll add in some salt or some fish sauce or something else. But this can provide a little of that boost to flavor without actually increasing the salt level. And if possible, I'd rather keep the salt level a little lower. And when I say salt, obviously sodium. A hair more mayo. A hair of Dijon. Like not much at all, but I can tell that it needs a little bite. A little bit of mayo. And then I think this is done. It's always easier to add something than take it away. And especially when it comes to mayonnaise and like mustard, start slow and just slowly ramp up. You're also going to help yourself learn what do you like better. Like I've learned even just adding a little bit of mayonnaise, a little bit of mayonnaise. I said that twice. A little bit of mustard lets me reduce the amount of mayonnaise because that spicy component really like touches off a lot of the tanginess that I want. That the mustard contains is exactly what I want. We're done. That is delicious tuna salad.
We'll talk about it at dinner.
Has every note that I'd want. Little one needs food.
She slept for all of 10 minutes today at school.
10 minutes, that long, huh?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Miss Lex actually enjoyed the revenge of waking her up. But I think an early bed is in the books.
I'd agree. Okay, this is done. Let's get our broccoli prepped. Knowing that our salmon is cooking away. Salmon is currently at 95 degrees, which is fine. As it cooks, it's going to heat up faster and faster and faster. And being on a convection, it's going to be very efficient. So let's get the broccoli ready. This is just going to be simple steamed broccoli. And the pot that I want to use is sturdy. Give me a second. Yeah, so especially now, Gardner, that we got you in. Again, we were talking about gardening. Be curious to know how you're prepping. You're the amount of gardening space you have is larger than my house. So I'll be curious to know what you're doing, what you're planning on. I know my big thing is always tomatoes. Like, I want to have fresh tomatoes. I want to have fresh basil. I'm thinking this year I'm going to try my hand at finding tomatillos because I love salsas. Peppers I've never had great luck with, but I might go back to that ornamental. That's a really good idea. Strange to garden because winters get to -8. Ugh. Summers are dry with almost 2 months without rain. So I'm guessing, are you Canada, Gardner? Or are you UK?
Or Europe.
Or Europe, correct. Europe as a whole, not just strictly UK. The lid is...
For the small pan,
Yes,
in the dishwasher.
in the dishwasher. Roger. Also, it's Gardner. I'll have to remind myself that you are another standard measurement user. I will try to be more cognizant of utilizing both amounts. I really don't have a problem with translating between them. Croatia split. Cool. Okay, so it's okay. That makes sense. The garden is actually further enough. At Roger.
Hey, honey.
Yes, dear.
Honey. So when you said that you have no problem translating between the two systems, what I heard was, I'm Sacred Demon! I have no problem translating between metric and imperial. Woo! I love you. I am hungry and you are holding up dinner.
It's cooking.
Do not set my house on fire with rags on it.
I'll try not to.
Thank you.
Married life is glorious.
I'm Sacred Demon.
Oh, my name is Mittens and I have hair. Luckily, we've already got the broccoli chopped up, so that's going to save us time.
Awesome wife is awesome.
It's kind of measure trying to learn as well. I don't know what it is, but I figured try it out. So take off your clothes. My buddy Tiggs dropped that in here one day as a pun on add more garlic. It's like, it was take off your clothes. And I was like, that is the best darn pun. You're catching me at the end of cooking, trying to figure out how to add garlic. to any of this.